episode. Is it an episode or is it the consequence of? Yes, I can speak to this. Grounding into saying hello to me as Alice. The question is also a difficult one for the vessel. She is also wanting to know what the answer is. And there is trepidation for what I may say. So I am grounding. For there is an answer. Yes. Yes. Ah, there we go. Understanding the civilizations that arose out of the African continent. Understanding that history also. And in regards to energy, in regards to the culture, in regards to the interaction with greater beings and elementals within that continent. What is the history? What has happened? There's been much disruption before Europeans came to the continent. There was much fracturing within the people there. There was much scrambling for power's sake. Patriarchy was taking hold and root in insidious ways, where war and harm, power over, enslavement of their own had taken precedent, ignoring the world, ignoring the land. There we go. That's it. It is not to say that all peoples of this continent were in such ways. But there is an insidious shift, although not, again, unique to this continent, of course not. But how within ourselves, within this lineage, and I can claim such because I am of that lineage, where can we own that in which we have strayed from harmony, from deep ways of the feminine divine, of deep ways of community and family, in deep ways of respecting symbolisms, of looking after all and not just one. Looking after and protecting all who are, who need such, those who are disadvantaged, children, women. Not to say that women are not words. The masculine was devised, was created to support the feminine. It is not to say that the masculine is less than. It is to say that the masculine works in partnership with, but to understand that the masculine comes from the feminine. When there is a shift in power, when there is an imbalance, there can be also a vacuum that can be created. The Europeans took advantage of this vacuum. It is not to say that one deserves such horror and suffering. There is much desecration. There is much sacrilege in what has been done to a people. And yet, what is the lesson from this? This is where we can find true healing, true evolution of spirit. What is our lesson? It is sometimes difficult to hold this, for we are all in pain and suffering. We are all in our trauma, and I know this. Part of my manifesting here in this vessel as Alice is to more fully understand and be with trauma, to fully go through the experience of oppression as woman-bodied and as a person of ethnicity. But it is how we rise above. Within the African continent, there has been great civilizations and great access to power and spiritual understanding and knowing of the cosmos. And yet it was fractured and misused in certain cases. It is often, it is to be said that those who hold great power are the ones to have the greatest fall when it is misused. This is, again, difficulties in language. It's how do we find our royal lineage? How do we find our true, our pure connection to the planet? One of the disadvantages that those who are on this continent have, one of the disadvantages is that they have lost connection to the land. Because of structures of dominance, oppression, because of history of wholesale slavery. The connection to land is tenuous here. To understand and gain greater bearing as a people, as a culture, owning your place within the planet, owning your place where you are at, owning your connection to the land that you are on, is healing. It will help you find truth. It will help empower you. Are there any questions on this topic? Yes. Even though I do not wish to claim false narrative, those who are indigenous to the land have access to the land and they have connection already. It is not to say that those who come here, those who immigrate, who come here, who are not native, yes, who are not native to this land. It is not to say that they cannot forge connections, and it also is not to say that those who are per se indigenous to this land, for who are they? How long have they been here? They may also be new to this land at one point, and yet they formed connections. Connections to the land is not proprietary to those who are here first. But this does not mean that there can be disrespect. If you find yourself here in a land, if you decide to make yourself home in this place, then speaking to the land, asking it to hold you, asking it, what is it that you could do for it? Asking and respecting the land. Know that as you come in, you want it to welcome you. Welcome the land. Say, what can I do for you? And how can I be of service? This is what needs to be taught to all peoples. Those who came here and desecrated and took, sacrilege of those who made spaces sacred. How do we hold space and healing for that? One culture, one people do not have proprietary ownership over land, even over spiritual concepts. Where you go, if you find your place at home, asking the land is the way to promote healing and respect. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.